Got your water bottle ready? That's good. All right, so here we go. Second hour again. Look at this iceberg. People that succeed, oh, look at them. They get all the breaks. No, they don't. There's sacrifice. There's good habits. There's focus. You face disappointment. I like this one. You know why this guy's in tears? Because he just got kicked in the groin by life, and he's bent over on the ground. What do you got to do when life does that, though? What do you got to do, Gavin? Get back up. You don't just lay on the ground and lay in a corner. You get back up, Gavin. That's what this is all about, man. All right, so here we go. Good start. Okay, so, all right, we set this all up, and then this is what we started, things that we need for today's notes. You hopefully have finished filling this out. If you are still copying this down like this is brand new, you got a problem. All right, we've done this too long. And then these switch, and then I'm going to reference these if somebody has a problem. I got something going on in my ear here, a little buzzing. All right, and then maybe one more thing. I think this is smart. Do those quadrantals. That's what that is called, quadrantals, when you're on the x-axis. And then this is what we can access in order to do our kicks or ticks. I had to think about that for a second. I was going too fast. If you need other things, like all the, I picked over 6 for just for an example. If you need all the other ones, 4 pi over 4, 3 pi over 3, jump backwards, jump forward, so we know our angle measures. And then just sticking with the over 6s, that's 2 pi, so jump backwards is 11 pi over 6. You do you. Some of you don't need this at all right? And I know that, all right? But I need more success here. And then what are these? Is this sine, comma, cosine, or is it cosine, comma, sine? 3, 2, 1, go. Holy cow. Did you just hear that? Group response. All right, excellent. All right, and then one more thing. What is tangents? You actually had this yesterday. Is it sine over cosine or cosine over sine? So, good. So, tangent of 30 degrees right here is sine over cosine. That's 1 over root 3. So, that's how you play this game if you need to access this in order to do your your ratios here. Okay, then I think I told you this yesterday, or at least one of my classes, maybe my 7th hour. Today is a connection to Monday and Tuesday. You're doing both things. Monday was solving. Tuesday was the brand new identities shoved in your face, brand new. Then Wednesday is solving, but you need to use identities to make the equation work. So we have to use what we did yesterday. Okay, so then I'm going to help those that, did I pick anyone yet? Did I pick someone? Okay, is it Tyler? Okay, sometimes I forget your names just because it's hard. My name database, right? Ava? See, I caught myself, and then I told the story later how you were furious that I called you by the wrong name yesterday. Sorry about that. I apologize. Okay, so Tyler, here we go. Here's the problem with this and how it's different than Monday. These are not the same variable. This is unsolvable as it stands. It's impossible, okay? Unless you use a graphing calculator. Don't even want to get into that. And then, blah, 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 blah. But, Tyler, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm not going to force you to memorize. I'm going to force you to write this down, and then we're going to use a Pythagorean identity substitution, and then you'll be amazed how this actually works out. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Tyler, is what's secant? What letter over what letter? Y over x, x over y, r over x, x over r. That's what I'm asking. It's r over x. So what am I going to divide by in order to get secant in the Pythagorean identities? X squared, you got it. And then what's x squared divided by x squared? Huh? 1? What's y squared over, what's y over x? That's all I care about. Oh, well, no, but what's y over x? Which trig function specifically? So what is sine over cosine, which is tan? So this is 1 plus tangent squared. By me doing this off to the side, I don't really have to memorize. I just got to remember where it comes from, and then I can produce it. And then I'm good to go. And now I do have the same variable. I got tans with tan squareds. This is very solvable. This is what we solved Monday. So Tyler and everyone else, it's one extra step, and then you're doing what you did Monday. Do you see how math builds on itself? See, when you don't do your Monday homework, how Wednesday's screwed up? This is what's killing me about you people. All right? We cannot build on anything when you don't do. And that's why I am not happy right now. The homework averages are horrendous. That is why our class grade is horrendous. You can never build on anything. Don't even want to get into the absences and not doing anything during absences. That's a whole nother ball of wax. There's so many things going on that are causing our demise. Dun, dun, dun. Who's number 19? Ava. Yes. All right, so here we go. I do apologize. All right, so Ava, what kind of factoring do I do next? And then what are you left with? Nice. Awesome. And then let's do the zero product property, and then I'll leave you alone. By the way, the rules are you only have to go twice today. So you're one in. If you get called again, then you'll have to go one more time, and then that's it. Okay, let me have you do that first half one. By the way, 0 over, Ava, 0 over. What's the bottom? And then it's the same thing for this other one. We'll get someone else to answer that. We'll do the first one, though. Where do you get tan is 0? By the way, what's tan? What letter over what letter? So you need a y of 0 and an x of 1. Where do you see that? Which angle measures? So what is that? Well, we don't answer that because it's we don't include 2 pi because what's the same as 2 pi? I just circled it. 0. So that not equal to 2 pi, you can never write 2 pi as an answer. You're supposed to write 0. Then what's the other one? Because it could be 0 over -1 is still 0. That bottom could be plus minus 1 pi. There you go. So that's how you use that circle to get that first one. And then I'll get off of you here, and we'll get to another student there. Doink. 8. Who's 8? Nice. All right, so what's this other one? Where do you get? By the way, she already did it. -1 over 1. That's y over x. Where does that happen? Is it this first, second, or third one in the green there? Okay, so it's y over x, but which angle measure do you get? Negative. Well, let's just deal with 1, and then negative is what quadrant we're in. Is it 30, 45, or 60? Remember, tangent is, and why do we not do the denominators? What happens to the denominators? They cancel. So which one, when I do this over this over this, or this over this, which one gives me 1? 45. Okay, so you need the 45s in what quadrants? Where is tan negative? That's maybe one more thing you should write on this. A, S, T, C, depending on your level that you're at. So what are the 45s in 2 and 4? We're getting there, Chief. And now you might want to do, if you're struggling, 4 pi over 4 at pi, and then 8 pi over 4 for 2 pi, and then what are the answers? Yeah.
So the first one would be 3 pi over 4.
Nice. And then what's the next one?
The second one would be 7 pi over 8.
Ooh, 7 pi over what? They're over what? Yeah, you just made a mistake on what you said there. I got you. Okay, sorry, I don't want to go too fast. I know people are writing as I go. And then I have to give you a minute to write the question down. So if you got that done, go ahead and write 2 down, and then I'll hold off for a second. And that's it. All right. And this makes me feel better. And even a student I had last hour, I know it was a deer and headlights thing, but I'm not going to let you not answer. I'm going to get you going. All right. And you're going to have to do it because I need your brain to work differently during notes. I need you to be on task, ready to go. And at least get as much as you can out of a lesson during the day. All right? Something's got to change. Okay, done with my little speech there. Let's get my next one. Well, until I start repeating myself again, which I often do. 4. Nice. All right. So I know you were absent yesterday, but the rules are you're supposed to be doing something. All right? So we did a Pythagorean identity over here. So how do I get the cosine squared, sine squared, and Pythagorean identity done? We divide by r squared. So I'm going to go back to you, even though you weren't here yesterday. What's x over r? Which trig function? Which one's x over r? Which trig function? All I'm asking you is a Sir Kicks or Ticks question. Cosine. Okay, what's y over r? That's all I'm asking. Which one's y over r? Speak up too. Speak loud. Huh? Are you saying sine? Okay. What's r over r? What's r squared over r squared? No. What's? Did you say 10? No. Just what's r over r? What's something divided by itself? 1. So this is cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1. Okay, so that's what you need to know from this identity. Now, guys, who do you think I'm going to change? Do you think I'm going to change cosine or sine squared? Which one? Say it out loud. Which one do you think I'm going to change? 3, 2, 1, go. Cosine squared. I got to change this one because I have this leftover sine. If I change this one to cos, then I'd have the sine left over. I wouldn't have the same variables. Okay, because you weren't here yesterday, I got to teach you again. All right, but this is why when you're absent, it's catastrophic, and when you don't listen to a video, it's catastrophic. So what we did is converted that x squared plus y squared equals r squared into that identity. Then tell me, what is cosine squared equal to? What would I have to do with that sine squared to get cosine squared by itself? What would I have to do with that sine squared? So what would I have to do to get rid of this sine squared? I'd have to what? What operation? How would I move it? Subtraction. So what is cosine squared equal to? Now I need you to tell me what I replace it with. This is the whole idea of yesterday's notes. So if I subtract this, what does this become? So I'm just subtracting sine squared from both sides. So what does cosine squared equal? Subtracting the sine squared from both sides, what does cosine squared equal? It's the same exact spot where we were locked in yesterday, or last hour. So you still have the 1. Okay, 1 minus sine squared. I'm going to have you answer another question, all right? That's what this becomes. I'm not leaving you out of this. You got to get in here. This is why we must do something when we are absent. Otherwise, things just do not work. I'm making these points. This is what's been happening all year long. We have another absence today. It's just catastrophic, this absence thing, and not doing with absences. Catastrophic. Okay? And it continues to build on itself in a negative way. I will say this. I cannot stand a negative leading coefficient. I can't. All right, so I actually do this. I multiply both sides by a negative. Is negative 0? Whoa, that was weird. Is negative 0 any different than 0, anyone? No, that's why it doesn't matter. And now what am I going to have to do, Sadal? What am I going to have to do? Good foilers, say it. Factor. Okay, how do I get 2 sine squared? What do these two have to be? I need you to speak up too. Sine? So one of them sine, I think is what you said. What does that mean this one has to be so that this multiplies to be 2 sine squared? 2. Same person last hour didn't say the other thing either. 2 what? 2 sine. I couldn't get her to say sine. I don't know why. It's weird. Yes, 2 sine times sine is 2 sine squared. Now, what multiplies to be negative 1? 1 and negative 1. I have a negative as a middle term. So what I'm going to ask you next is that supposed to be minus 1 there or plus 1 there, where I just underlined? Is that supposed to be minus 1 or plus 1? Knowing, oh, actually, the way we did this, really where I want to look is this one. My bad. Last hour, we put 2 sine first. I want to look at this one, and then I need this to happen. So what is this supposed to be, plus or minus 1 there? This one right here. Plus or minus? Oh, I thought you said minus. Why is it minus? This is negative 2 sine, and then this is positive 1 sine. This is what I've been trying to get you guys to do since August. Good foiler, say it. Liar if you do not do what I'm doing right now. And I've done that for a while because I still know people out there don't know how to factor. I just graded your last quizzes. The factoring was a disaster. And I don't get it. That's not even this class. You should have come in here knowing how to factor. All right, so this is why I'm down to, we have got to get this stuff done. And Get our factoring skills, getting them good here. I don't know what else to say. I'm just bamboozled. What still confuses people in this class? 9. Who's 9? Nice. You ready? So now you're the unit circle person. By the way, 1 over, 1 over, 1 over, 1. We're going to get 1 over 1. And this is only one option because this is y over r. R cannot be plus minus. So you only have one spot where you have y as 1. And actually x would be 0, giving you a little extra information there. Or remember, this is it's cosine comma sine. So where do you see 1 for the sine position? No, not at 0. Remember, it's cosine comma sine. So where do you see sine of an angle measure equals 1? Where's 1 in the sine position? It's actually up here. Pi over 2. So you looked at the cosine being 1. That's actually there. And then, oh my gosh, I wish I would have said this like all year long. What's sine of a 30, everyone? Okay, so we're just going to, you tell me what those answers are then. Okay, so where do we get sine of theta equals negative 1/2? You should have your own chart up there. Where's sine negative? What quadrants? 3 and 4, so I need the 30s in 3 and 4. What are those? So if you need that, this is, I actually did write that one. This is the over 6s. And then I wrote the over 6s. So randomly we did write those that we needed. There you go. And that's why you write those, so you always can just look at them and access them. And by the way, we've said this before too. This takes, actually it should take 20 seconds. You have the time and it'll speed up if you're struggling. All right, hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. I hope not. Me putting that 2 sign there first, I think we're fine, and then we can move on. All right, so let's get it somebody else, because I do want you to be ready to go. Doink, 20. Yes. She was bragging yesterday that she never got picked by the calculator. All right, anyway. I had this discussion with my person first hour. Where does sine equal cosine? Like sine of this angle measure, cosine of this angle measure, I get the same output. You know, so sine 45. So I should already know what the answers are if I just thought about this. Right? But this is weird. I remember I had this in the old book and I froze. I'm like, "Wait a minute. How do I do this?" And then I had to think that we just talked about, but actually this is what you do. And then you'll see what answers we get, and it will be the answers that you said there. You know, whatever I do to one side, say it, everyone. Do the other, and I can. By the way, student number 20, what's cosine over cosine? People do weird stuff with this. 1. People put 0 for that. That just changes everything. And then what's sine over cosine? It's tangent. All right, and then where do you get tangent of what angle measures equals 1? Say it again. 45s. And then where's tangent positive? What quadrants? Ooh, positive. Tan's positive in 1, because everything's positive in 1. Where else is tan positive? You gave me the negatives. They're negative in 2 and 4. 1 and 3. So what are they? I need the answers now. Nice. Pen stopped. Nice. All right, and then if it's needed for those that struggle, you'd put 4 pi over 4 here and then jump forwards. That's where we get 5 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4 equals pi. All right? Dom, what are you doing over there? It looked like you were trying to jack around with one of your friends. Come on, 2, 2. Dom, what number are you? Are you sitting in the 2 position now? If 3 comes up, I'm still going to make you go, darn it. All right. 2. Nice. Take a drink real quick so you don't pass out. All right, anyway. All right. No drinks today. He's like, all right. Okay, so you know what? We're going to do this real quick. Here's the problem. This is why it's different than Monday. Not the same variable. But we're going to do this. We're not going to memorize for the moment. This is only day 2 of doing the Pythagorean identities. So we're going to do this. And then let me just ask you, might be easier, what's cosecant? What letter over what letter? So it's a certain... Yeah, but no, I need X, Y, and R. Like, so it's a kicks or ticks thing. So what's cosecant? No, it's a fraction. I need y over r, r over y, x over y over x. You know, that's you're not r over y. So what does that mean? I would divide by to get r over y. Y squared. You got it. So here's what okay. So cosecant squared equals, what's x over y? What's x over y? So you have to have something memorized. Cotangent, and then what's y over y? That's supposed to be squared. So this turns into cotangent, sorry, I moved over here to points. Cotangent squared theta plus 1. See how I could just do this real quick and it takes care of memorizing? You know, and we are going to make you memorize these. These will not be given to you. You need to know the Pythagorean identities. So that's what I'm doing in my role right here to try to get you to make this seem easier. You know, simplify it for you. I don't care what anyone says about me. I at least try to approach things where how could this be the easiest for the students to understand, right? And I do. I don't care what anyone says. Say all the bad things about me. Probably most of them are true. But what I at least do is try to make your job as simple as possible. Okay, one more thing, and then we'll leave you alone. How do I get rid of squared? And when I square root, what do I have to put on the right side? Plus or minus, which makes the last person's job easy. Okay, so I'll get that in a minute, but I'm selecting a student who thought they were done for the day and got away with it, but now they're not. Student number 10, who's that? That's a repeat. That we end how we start. And the rule is you can go twice. All right, so cotan of theta equals plus minus root 3. Do you already know the angle we're dealing with? Is it a 30, 45, or 60? It's a 60. Here's how you do this, though, for those that struggle. Here's how you use this thing. All right? And I have to use my pen because you can't see my face. Tangent is sine over cosine. Oh, no. Do you want to change your answer? Because tangent is sine over cosine. I got to change my colors. Maybe I'll do it. Sine over cosine. So that's 1 over root 3. Cotan is cosine over sine. So it's a 30. So I got excited at first, but it's cotan. So that's how you use that thing there. Now tell me the answers. So they're all the 30s. So what do we got? Pi. The 30s are not pi over 6. And then what? Got it. Got it. Got it. And then we're done. Okay, so hopefully, you know, in the midst of these notes as well, we're helping with unit circle evaluation because we certainly can't solve if we don't know how to do the unit circle. All right? And then all the other stuff, the bridge between the 2 days. And I don't care, you know, I'm being honest. These things that we need to work on. When you're absent and you don't do anything, you are instantly in trouble in my class. There's no replacement for it. None. So we got to do a better job with that as a class.